Okay, so in previous video, we learned how we can develop the backend of simple CRUD application using Django REST Framework. Now we will be developing the front end of this application using React.js. Before we move forward, we need to know some core concepts of React.js. So basically, what is React.js? It's a free and open source front-end JavaScript library. Note that it's a JavaScript library, not a framework. So it's used for building the user interfaces based on UI components. We will learn later on what are the components, and it's basically maintained by Meta and some open source individuals. So what does React uses JSX syntax. What is JSX? It's basically an extension of JavaScript library which looks like HTML. It is specifically for React. So whenever you are writing code in React, you are using JSX syntax, not the not pure JavaScript. Okay, so what's next is virtual DOM. React uses virtual DOM for rendering. What's virtual DOM? We'll talk about this later. But before knowing the virtual DOM, we need to know what is actually a DOM. So a DOM is a document object model, which is an API which represents and interacts with HTML or XML documents. So it's an API which allows programs or scripts to dynamically access and update the content, structure, and style of a document. So you can update you can update your document whenever data is updated. You can update the structure and these kind of things using document object model, which is simply an API. So using your programming interface, you can update your whole content of the page and structures, etc. So what is React DOM? React DOM is a package. So it's basically for React. It's a package that provides DOM specific methods which can be rendered or any other methods. So these methods are DOM specific, and these can be used on top at the top level of web app to enable an efficient way of managing DOM elements of the web page. So basically React doesn't use exact DOM, the actual DOM. It uses the virtual DOM, which is a copy of the actual DOM. So instead of updating the actual DOM, actual document object model, it will update the virtual DOM, and then this will update this basically improves the efficiency and performance. Using virtual DOM improves the efficiency and performance of your application. Okay, so next, we if we move forward, so let's talk about components, state, React hooks, and other important things like props. Okay, so what's a component? A component is one of the core building blocks of React. You will just build a lot of components when we will develop the front end of this application. So so these are the basic components that you will be developing. Then the next thing is props. So is props? So whenever you want to pass an information from, because you are gonna develop multiple components in your application. For example, you are building a component for your home page, you are building the component for your navigation component, or you're gonna build a component for your students list page. So whenever you wanna communicate information from one component to the other, then then the props are simply, which stands for properties. These are basically used to pass the information from one component to the other. Okay, so next thing is the state. State is simply a specific state of a component. Like at what time, what is the state of a specific object. For example, if we talk about our students list page, then at specific time it will contain, for example, 4 students. The state will be updated later on. For example, a new student is added, then the state will change. So this is basically the state of a component, and the state actually holds the information which can change over the lifetime of the component. Next, we have React hooks. So these are basically simple JavaScript functions, and these are provided by React. In previous versions of React, you might have implemented React using classes, but the new way of implementing React is using React hooks, and we simply use functions. So these React hooks are basically JavaScript function that you can use for example, managing the states for page uploads, refresh, etc. So for example, if you talk about the use state is a hook that basically helps you to update or to manage the React states. So these are the some built-in hooks, and you can actually develop your own custom hook as well. So these are some basic React concepts that you need to know if you want to know more about these components that I have also created a blog on this. So I have developed a whole blog on this. You can see part 1, part 1, part 3. So in this part 2 of this blog, you can read further details about these. You can see some examples, for example, what are states and hooks, some examples of these React events and other kind of things, and what's React DOM in detail. So if you want to know a lot more about these concepts, then you can read this article. Okay, so next I will also give you the link of this article in the video in video description. So thanks. In the next video we will actually start the development of front end in React.js.